Yeah, reckless, dangerous, and egregious failure of operational security. Just some of the ways lawmakers have been reacting to the stunning leak of U.S. military plans. Concerns being expressed about the safety of U.S. troops and moving forward, how this might impact our relationship with allies. Continued fallout in Washington over the release of U.S. war plans ahead of the bombing of Houthi targets across Yemen. Top national security officials accidentally including the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic in text chains ahead of the military strikes on the Iranian-backed terrorist organization, which the journalist says laid out the specifics of timing, targets, and weapons.
They were running a war plan on a messaging app and didn't even know who was invited into the conversation.
Multiple high-level officials appear to be on the text chain on the messaging app Signal, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and Vice President J.D. Vance. KTV political analyst Brian Sobel.
Globally, it says to our allies that we have trouble keeping a secret, which is the worst thing that any ally could contemplate. And domestically, it is a problem because Democrats are already seizing the moment to say, hey, the Trump administration can't keep a secret. In fact, maybe a little bit worse, they're very loosey-goosey with sensitive information.
Although a spokesperson for the National Security Council says the message thread appears to be authentic, Hegseth responding Monday night with this.
Nobody was texting war plans, and that's all I have to say about that.
A few hours after The Atlantic published the story, President Trump asked about it at the White House.
I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time.
Democratic leaders are now calling for an investigation.
This is reckless, irresponsible, and dangerous.
If these detailed exchanges about coordinating military operations fell into the hands of America's enemies, it could get people killed.
And in a statement Monday, the National Security Council saying there were no threats to U.S. service members or national security. But as we just heard there from Democrats, they still want more answers to prevent this from happening again. Heather?
Yep. All right. Our Zach Sauce reporting live for us tonight. Zach, thank you. New strikes by Israeli forces have killed dozens